Welcome everyone to Potts Draws Characters, where I teach you how to draw people. So originally I was going to get right into it. I was going to start with heads and work our way into faces and so on and so forth. But then I realized you guys need to know what utensils you need before we start sketching. So the first thing we're going to cover is our sketch pencil set. Now this set's going to come with a wide variety of different thicknesses, but it all comes down to what kind of sketch you want to do. If you want to do a quick sketch, for example, you're walking down the street, you see somebody sitting on a park bench, you want to do something quick, then you're going to want to go with the higher thickness pencils like this 6B or even a charcoal pencil. As you can see, this creates very quick, dark, and thick lines. However, if you are wanting to do a sketch in which you plan on later inking and coloring, you're going to want to go with a pencil somewhere along the lines of the 4H pencil. As you can see, compared to the previous demonstration, this is very, very light and very, very thin. And that's what we want for inking, which moves us on to the pens that we want to use. Now, for me, I have the Staedtler, and I also have your basic Uniball. So for this type of sketch artist, this comes in 0.7, 0.5, 0.3, and 0.1. So you can actually choose the pen thickness that you want. But the Uniball is also a really, really good ink pen. However, you're limiting yourself only to one size. So you could get both like I did. Most of the time I use the Uniball to ink my sketches. It turns out to be just one size line, and that is what you need for most of your things. But if you're wanting to do something thinner or something thicker, then this Staedtler set is something that would be much easier to use because, like for example, this 0.1, it's going to create a very thin line as compared to this 0.7 is going to create a much thicker line. So if you want to get very detailed with it, you can get an ink set, but the Uniball is going to be good enough if that's the route you want to go. Or you could be like me and you get both and you use all of them depending on your sketching situation. Then the next thing is, now that we've drawn our ink lines, we want to get rid of the pencil lines that we left behind them ink lines. You do not want to use a regular eraser. You want to get something called a kneaded eraser. Specifically, I get this Faber-Castell kneaded eraser. It's the best one that I've found so far. I've used this ever since I was in high school. And I've tried other kneaded erasers. They felt too plasticky and they didn't really work that well. But you just go over it gently to get rid of all these lines that we made, and then our lines are gone. So the very last thing we're going to talk about, now most people, they like to take their inked sketch and put it on the computer and color it that way, but there are still quite a few people out there that like to still color by hand. We also have the Staedtler colored pencils. So the same place that I get my pens, I get my pencils. And I just really particularly like these colored pencils because the shading comes out really, really nice. It flows very smoothly on the paper. And you just, very, very easy to shade with these types of colored pencils. So, in conclusion, what do you need before you start sketching? You need a good sketch pencil set. You need a good ink pen set. You need a good kneaded eraser. And if you want to color by hand, you will need a good color pencil set. And that's all you really need. You'll be ready for my next video when we get into drawing heads, and then the video after that we'll get into faces and so on and so forth. Eventually we'll do a complete sketch of how to draw people. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this and you guys found this informative, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, laters.